Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Christmas Eve. This is weighing on my heart, and I'm still recovering from jet lag, so I'm still struggling a little bit. Um, my littlest one is dealing with a fever, coming back from our little vacation. My oldest of the two, she is having a little bit of a sleep regression at 3.5 years old. So the nighttime routine has gotten longer and more out of hand. So compounding that on top of jet lag and feeling a little bit under the weather, it's been tough. It's been tough, but I think this is weighing heavy on my heart for one reason and one specific reason only, is because the Lord wants me to get it out there, so this video finds you. So yeah, if you're a dad and you're feeling like there's still something wrong or missing inside, I think this video is for you. So let's get right into it. What's up, y'all? What's up, all my dads, all my chads, all my players, all my retired players, my player haters. This video is for you. I'm just a dad. I'm David. If you guys didn't know, I make videos that are lessons that I want to pass down to my kids. But this video is going to serve as a lesson for a lot of dads out there. And I think it's a clear lesson of what I'm going through right now, right? Like, it's easy to blame it on the physical, right? It's easy for me to say, something's feeling off inside, jet lag, or I'm feeling under the weather too, right? Like, I'm feeling a little warm. It might be a fever. And I can use that as an excuse and put things off to the side. But I'm not going to do that, right? Because that friction inside is the Lord, the Spirit guiding me to do the things that I need to do, the hard work that I've been avoiding. And part of that is just getting in front of this camera and talking. So if you're feeling like something's off inside, it's because you're avoiding something important, right? And there's three big culprits of that. And these are three challenges that I face every single day as a father, that you need to face every single day and overcome to be the best version of yourself, to become the best dad that you can be, to become the best husband that you can be, right? So let's get into those three things. The first thing I want to talk about, right, is going to be the mind, the battleground that is your mind. And you have the utmost responsibility and control of it. Every single thought that crosses your mind, whether they're the quiet ones, the intrusive ones, or the positive or the negative, right? Like, every single thought that comes across your mind, you have to filter through them and act upon them. More so, you have to control what outside influence gets into your mind, right? Whether that's the media that you consume, browsing and doom scrolling on social media, the news, music, movies, right? Like, all of these can influence your belief and your thoughts. I remember when I hit rock bottom back during COVID, before I had my first kid, I was lost. But what I remember so clearly was how much fear and anxiety there was. And that was exacerbated by always being on social media and letting news just dictate what you feel, what you believe, what you heard, what you saw, right? Like, and then you're scrolling on Reddit, you're scrolling on Instagram, and they're leaning one way in the political spectrum, right? And it's so easy to get drawn and sucked into the hatred, into the divisiveness. So it affected me. It kept me in like a lull. It made my energy levels a lot lower. It just wasn't healthy. So when I climbed out of my rock bottom, when I fought my way out, when I found Jesus, right, like, I made it a clear intent of mine to really tend to the garden, because if I don't tend to my own garden, something else will, the environment will. And I didn't want to leave it up to that, right? Like, control the inputs that you can control. So that meant I got rid of Instagram, I got rid of social media, I got rid of watching violent or gory movies. I remember, like, the last violent thing I saw was Squid Games, the first season, right? And that was back in like 2022, late 2022 or early, or something like that. And like, that was like the last violent thing I watched, and I was watching that and I was wondering, why am I watching this? So yeah, control what you can control. Don't let negative things get into your mind, because you can sort out your own thoughts. But then if you're watching negative stuff, you're listening to negative stuff all the time, you're browsing through negative stuff all the time, those factors are influencing your mind too. And if you limit that, you're gonna have an easier time of controlling your own thoughts. So yeah, topic number one, control your own thoughts. That's the first battleground. Do so you can create solitude, create some silence in your mind, because it gets into point number two. Point number two is creating a relationship with something larger than yourself. And when I say relationship, it's easy to say, oh yeah, the relationship with your wife, or the relationship with your family, or the relationship with your community. Those are great, 100%. I don't dispute that. But what I'm talking about here today is a relationship with something greater than yourself. And for all intents and purposes, I'm going to talk about God. I have no fear of talking about God. I am not religious, so I don't have a huge religious background, again. But I know his voice and I know his love. And I have faith in that. But when I talk about building a relationship, it's not about just, oh yeah, I know that person, it's going to be a fun and dandy relationship, right? Like, it's not. You have to put work in, you have to put effort in, just like with your wife, with your partner. if you're not putting the effort in, you're not going to reap the benefits, the highs, the love from it, right? Like, you can't expect, to be met at a common ground if you're not putting in that effort. And when I'm talking about building a relationship with God, building a relationship means more than just praying and asking for things. I know so many people that are of a religious background, and when they talk about praying, they're talking about, oh yeah, can you, make sure my kids are healthy? Can you make sure that, I have my job the next year, right? Like, you're just asking. You're coming from a place of lack. You're just asking, asking, asking. And if you were to do the same with your wife, just always constantly asking, 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 and not giving, not listening, that relationship wouldn't really be fruitful, right? You wouldn't really give it any inputs to grow. And likewise with a relationship with God, you have to spend time intimately, routinely. And I'm not saying you gotta, do this like hours upon hours in a day, but make it a 10, 15-minute practice. First thing in the morning, and maybe for last thing you do before you go to bed, right? And make it a practice where you're listening, talking and having a real conversation, not just asking, right? Because if you're not listening, you're not going to be familiar with the voice. If you haven't been spending time throughout the year talking, building that relationship, and then, in your time of need, you're going to ask for a sign, of course you're going to miss it. You're not tapped in. You haven't strengthened that relationship. You don't know how the voice sounds like, right? So build that relationship. Spend the next 13, 14 days. Find a practice that works for you, right? Build that relationship. Because building that relationship gives you a strength, a love, a faith that you can fall back on hard times, because life will knock you down and you will be defeated many times, but defeat is only temporary until you die, right? And defeat is only temporary, especially when you have God on your side, God walking with you. And this leads into point number 3. Win the battle against lust. Every man, every healthy man at least, battles lust. Or, in other form or fashions, the vain glory of pursuit of men, right? Like, but every man struggles with lust. And whether that's fantasies with other women or pornography, right? I carried this one quietly for years, for decades even, right? Like, I wish I never even was exposed to it as a high schooler, because I'm 100% positive it affected my college, it affected my growing years, my social years. I was addicted to, the devil, also known as pornography. Quick dopamine hits, always feels good, it's always accessible, always at your fingertips. It's free for a reason. It's fucking crazy. And I feel like, society kind of normalizes it now, right? Like 2 out of 10 women is like a sex worker nowadays, I think. Don't quote me on that source. Trust me, bro. But, I think 7 out of 10 men do look at pornography daily, and those are men that are accurately and honestly answering. And I'm pretty sure there are people that are more closeted not answering that question, so I think that number creeps up even higher, which is alarming. But yeah, Matthew 5, verse 28. Looking with lust is already a betrayal in the heart. Just looking with lust. Not even doing any action, doing any deed of sin, right? Like, not even cheating or whatever. Looking with lust is already a betrayal of the heart. Damage starts as soon as your eyes are looking with intent, right? Long before any action. That's crazy. And that cut deep, right? Like, knowing that. So I made a deal with myself. I'm going to fight daily, every single day. Call on the Lord's strength to overcome it. And when I stood on that principle, I think that's when freedom started. I think that's when I became a better man, a better father, a better husband, a better partner. I communicated more clearly. I felt more emotionally available. I was able to think situations more clearly, more win-win scenarios for myself. I became more disciplined with the way I ate, the way I had relationships with food, with my workouts, and discipline in my trading, obviously. So I think it's important. I think it's important that you overcome this lust, right? Because it's important. It's important as a dad, right? The way you look at women is the way your daughter is going to learn how to value herself, how they value their own self-worth, right? How you're looking at other women, how you treat your wife, how you look at your wife, right? Is all examples that your daughter is going to pick up on. And then if you have a son, if you're lucky enough to have a daughter and a son, right? Your son's going to learn how to respect women by your own actions, by the model that you portray. And if you're hiding these addictions, these, sneaky, whatever, rendezvous, right? It might not physically be shown, right? But It weighs heavily on the heart and the mind as shame, as guilt. Even if you don't want to admit it, it does. And I think that energy is easily read, easily picked up on. Um, so yeah, fight against the temptations of lust and become free from it. Yeah, I think overcoming that really gave me a better sense of self. All the added benefits of like better intimacy with your partner, better discipline. I think better facial features. I think my face has changed a lot this year. Outside of just losing weight, I think my facial shape has changed just with more pure thoughts and less lust going through my mind, going through my eyes. And I'm not to say I'm perfect. I had like streaks of 100+ days. Obviously I fell trap on some bad days. I'm not going to sit here and say I was perfect all year. But I can count on my hands the times that I used it. And I'm not proud of it, but I'm still fighting the fight. And I get back into that fight every single day. I pick myself up. And it's all connected. These 3 points, right? Controlling your mind, building that relationship with God, and overcoming lust. It's all connected, because if you don't control your mind, it's easy to let Instagram blast you with Instagram thoughties, right? And then you're so busy scrolling, you ain't gonna be spending time with God. If you ain't gonna be spending time with God, you ain't gonna have that power, that strength by your side to go and fight those demons when you're getting all like, bricked up and worked up, hot and bothered, right? You're not gonna have the strength to shun it away. So it's all connects. They all feed each other, right? Clearing your mind creates space. Space creates solitude. Solitude gives you that platform to build that connection with God. And God gives you that strength to fight battles every single day, because it's so easy to be burnt out. It's so easy to, I had a bad day. I had a bad trading day. I lost a little bit of money. Let's go feel good about it, right? Oh, I can't sleep. Let me go rub on it. Like, how many men, oh, I'm stressed out at work. Let me go, like, how many men do that? And it's all connected. It all ties back together. Romans 12:2. Let your mind get transformed instead of copying the world's patterns, because that's where real lasting change starts. For me, these 3 challenges, these 3 points that I consistently try to work on, right, all started when my first child was born. That's when my faith became real and Jesus stepped into the center of it all. I wish you guys all find that strength, that source to connect to. And yeah, I want you to go into 2026. Find something to challenge yourself this week. It doesn't have to be all 3, right? But maybe start with a mind. Cut out one negative input. Cut out violent movies, or cut out Instagram because it's too left-leaning, or cut out Twitter because it's too right-leaning, right? Do something. Choose one thing and choose it, right? And do it, right? Whether that's a connection with God, spend 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night. And maybe for the lust part, right? You don't need to completely give it up and go cold turkey. Like, it's hard. It's a hard thing to do. Maybe just start by admitting it to your partner, admitting it to an accountability partner. So choose one. Choose one to start working on, build that momentum. But I think starting with, task number 1 is better than starting at 3, because, you connect it all and you build on it, and then you get better outputs from it. But yeah, I've been in the dark. I've been in the dark trenches. I've been down rock bottom. I've clawed my way out. I'm not saying I'm fully healed. I'm not saying I'm some like guru, savior, healer, or whatever. No, I'm not. I'm going through it every single day with you guys. I've chased the wrong things. I've been empty, but fatherhood opened that door. But I'm not saying fatherhood's the fix. I'm not telling you guys to go be a father, because there's a lot of accountability, it's a lot of work, right? But it opened the door for me, for faith to come in through that door, to change my heart, to wash me of my sins. It's God's love that did the heavy lifting, right? It's His grace that did the heavy lifting. I think it's important on Christmas Eve to talk about that message, whether faith is completely brand new to you, or you're just curious. If this hits, try a step. Try controlling what you feed your mind first. You might be surprised. But outside of that, I'd like to talk to you on the next video. Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart, from my family to yours. God bless you. Till the next time, guys.